About a week ago, I did a video that Lil Cam, the guy who is thought to be TAKEOFF'S killer, had been killed himself in the Fifth Ward. However, hours after me, publishing my story, my video rather, people came out and said, no, that was fake news, that actually Lil Cam was not dead, that he was still running around Fifth Ward. Well, he was actually hiding out and that he was tweeting. Well, as I said in my prior video, I was only going by information that I had seen on the internet, and I stated this is what's being reported. I don't know if it's fact or fiction. As I'm going to say again, everything that we discuss in these videos, unless it comes from the official headquarters or the police department, these are allegations, okay? And they're not substantiated and they're not official. Anyway, I reported that. We find out that the young man is not dead and allegedly he's tweeting. I didn't think that a person tweeting from a Twitter account could necessarily prove that the person was still alive, because somebody else could actually have access to his Twitter account and be tweeting. However, it turns out that for the most part, we think that he is still alive. Well, just today I was online looking, trying to scour, find some information, about Lil Cam and what's going on, and why an arrest hasn't been made. It's almost 2 weeks, and it's like there were so many eyewitnesses. You would think that at this point somebody would have been arrested. Well, a lot of people are speculating that they're not necessarily going to, well, I'm talking about the police and FBI and whoever else, other agencies are involved, that they're going to try to build a case to get everybody involved, because some people are alleging that this is a setup, or they want to just get this criminal element, whatever gang or group is affiliated with this, off the streets. Now, there are some people that are alleging that, the Prince family mob ties had something to do with it. Those are allegations and people out there talking, okay? I cannot confirm or deny. I don't live in Houston. I don't know them people, okay? But today I was online and I saw a video from a YouTube channel. Please, you guys, go check out his channel. You can go see the full video on his channel, and it's called Hood Educated. And he actually had some documents showing that apparently Lil Cam was on bond at the time the shooting took place. And about a week after, around, sometime this week, they are trying to change the parameters of his bond. So let's read what they're asking for now. Now, I think the reason that this is really crucial is because typically, like, what would cause them, the DA, to go back and want to change anything about your bond, other than the fact that they are not telling the public that he is a suspect, but that they may have information, and they should, that they're not revealing to the public. Because just like we're talking on YouTube, all of this stuff becomes public knowledge, and the people who that they need to apprehend gets the information as well. So it looks like he might be on their radar. So let's take a look at the documents. So it says the state of Texas versus Joshua Cameron Isaiah. State's motion for bond conditions. Come now, the state of Texas, by and through its assistant district attorney, and moves the honorable court to enter the following bond conditions. The state requests the defendant not possess any firearms, ammunition, or other weapons. You would think that he would have been able to do it before, but maybe they're just reiterating it. State requests the defendant submit to electronic monitoring by signing the contractual agreements and complying with any stipulated curfews and rules. State requests the defendant submit to GPS monitoring by signing the contractual agreements and complying with any stipulated curfews and rules. So they're restating what they just restated. Okay. State requests the defendant be subject to curfew and that defendant remain at home as provided to the court between the hours of 12 a.m. and 11:59 p.m. So basically that's all day. 12 a.m. and 11:59. Yeah, that means you don't leave the house, sir. You are on house restriction. Okay. So if that's the case, because he had an earlier bond hearing earlier in the year, then that means they're changing it, probably because they suspect something. Okay. Motion for sufficient bail. The state of Texas moves this court to set bail at a sufficient amount pursuant to Code of Criminal Procedure, Articles blah blah blah, Article blah blah blah, allows this court to require a defendant to obtain a new higher bond whenever this court finds the current amount insufficient. By the terms of Article blah blah blah, this court takes this court must take into account the nature of the offense and the circumstances under which it was committed, including whether the offense involves violence as defined by article. And so they go on to define the article. I mean, that little technical stuff, legalese, I don't know, need to read. This court must consider the future safety of the victim and the community. See, this is the part that lets me think they know something. The court consider the future safety of the victim, because they know a lot of people, if he is possibly a suspect, they know some people want to hurt this man, and they also know that him being out there is a menace to society, to the community, because he could do something else again, and or somebody trying to do something to him can harm an innocent bystander, as what happened with Takeoff. Bail must be sufficiently high to give reasonable assurance that the defendant will undertake to comply with the court's orders and conditions of release. The state asked this court to set bail at the sufficient and non-oppressive amount of $6,000. Now, you know, $6,000 for a guy who is affiliated allegedly with a, you know, family that is wealthy or has the connections of, you know, mob ties. Like, I don't really think that that's a huge, you know, amount for bail, you know, and don't you only have to pay a percentage of that? So I don't even know that that's, you know, a deterrent. But anyway, this is interesting because these are new stipulations being set forth, and I'll just go back so we can see when all of this was signed and dated, so that you know it's current. So as you can see, it was filed November 9th, which was just last week. So this is pretty recent. So there you have it. So we do know one thing is that Lil Cam is not dead, and that, in my opinion, that he is on the radar for something. And you know, we do know, per people who are familiar with that area and the family, that Lil Cam was at the scene of the crime, and that, hey, maybe they're looking at him as a suspect, you know, and that they're just going to take their time to build a case, you know. So jump in the comments and let me know your thoughts. But if you want to know the full breakdown and details for one of the people that is following this like fine tooth, go on over to Hood Educated channel, and he will give you, you'll see the full video there. All right, jump in the comments and let me know your thoughts. Bye.